Hey, so, I recently purchased the new Springfield XDS two-tone, and so far I've put about 200 rounds through it. And I was looking at some reviews today, and I noticed that there were a lot of people complaining about a few things that have been going wrong with their XDS. And I just wanted to address some of those issues in this video today. So let's get started. One of the first issues was with the magazine. Just put the camera down here. Was with the magazine. When you push the magazine up into the gun a little too far, it disengages. For one, it disengages the mag release, and two, it disengages the slide lock. So let's go ahead and test that out and see what happens. As you can see, the gun is empty. No rounds in the magazine. So let's take a look. Alright, so the magazine is in the gun, all the way in the gun. And what seems to be happening is when you push the magazine, there's a little space between the grip and the magazine. When you push that into the gun, apparently it's supposed to bypass a device in the gun that engages the mag release, and that causes it to disengage basically and become useless. You should be able to just push it and the magazine doesn't come out. It also disengages the slide lock so that when you try to chamber around, it doesn't. When you try to chamber it with an empty magazine, it doesn't engage the slide lock. So I've pushed on it a few times here. You're supposed to hear a click or something, but nothing seems to be happening. Let's see if my mag release works. Yes, it does. I'll do it one more time. Mag release does indeed work. So let's try the slide lock. Slide lock also works. So I don't know what's going on with some of these XDSs out there. I did notice that the problem only seemed to be happening with the black on black, not the two-tone. I don't see why that would make any difference in the guns themselves, but you know, who knows. So that's that one. The second issue people have been having is when the brass is being punched out of the gun, when it's being expelled, it's apparently scratching this part of the chamber, and it's leaving some marks on some of the guns. It seems to be something that people are having trouble with. I've put 200 rounds through the gun, and I have no marking whatsoever. I haven't even had to wash this area with any kind of solution or anything. It's perfectly smooth. I've got no marks there. I've got no marks on the inside part either. So once again, I don't know what's going on with some of these XDSs out there, but mine so far is doing just fine. No problem with the magazine or the release. No problem with the slide lock, except that mine is a bit tough to just push down with just my thumb without pulling it back first. But that's not really a problem for me because I actually like getting the full force of the release when I'm chambering around, so that I just punch it in there really hard and make sure that it chambers properly. So that's not a big problem for me. But the last issue that I'm seeing people have is actually a pretty serious one that kind of worries me. Where if the if the slide is pushed back a little bit, it'll actually get stuck maybe a centimeter away from where it's supposed to be sitting from the front. So just that small amount gets pushed back, and then the gun won't fire. You can pull the trigger all the way back, and it won't fire. It won't activate the pin. So apparently, if it does get stuck in that position, you can just push. Now, I'm not trying to say this is okay by any means, but you can just push it forward and then engage it fully, push the slide all the way forward, and then you can fire. So let's see what happens when I fill this magazine. And apparently the only time that happens is when you have a full magazine with a round in the chamber. No, these are cycling rounds, so they are dummies. But let's see what happens. Magazine's in. Round will be chambered. So right now we have a chambered round. If these were live, this gun would be ready to fire. As you can see, the loaded chamber indicator is popped up. Now I should be able to just push this slide back, and it should stay, like I said, about a centimeter too far back to where I won't be able to fire it. So I mean, holstering your weapon or bumping it up against something, any hypothetical situation you could come up with where you might press the front of this gun against something on accident will cause it to disengage and become unable to fire. So let's see what happens. I'm going to go ahead and just push this forward, and yep, it is now, as you can see, not lined up. The bottom of the chamber is not lined up with the lower part of the gun. The spring sticking out a little bit further than it should be, and the back isn't lined up either. You can also see back here that these two pieces for the pin mechanism are not lined up. And let's see what happens when I try to do a dry fire. Nothing. So that is a pretty significant problem in my opinion. If it was a situation where this is a carry weapon, if it was a situation where you depended on pulling this gun quickly and getting a shot off, and this happens, this can be quite the problem depending on the situation. So, keeping that in mind, if you do put this gun into a holster and push this back, drawing it from the holster should pull the slide back to its proper position. So let's put it, right now it's off, so those pieces aren't flush, but if you just push it forward, you flush them up, the slide goes back to where it will fire, the gun will fire correctly. Do a dry fire just to demonstrate. There it is. So it really depends upon the person, whether they trust that pulling it from the holster will make sure that this slide is fully engaged, it's all the way forward, and the gun will be ready to fire. Me personally, I don't mind it at all. I think for everything that the gun is, that little problem isn't too big of a problem to where I'm worried about the performance of the weapon. I love the gun. I think it's an extremely good carry weapon. It's very accurate for its size. It's pretty reliable. So far I've had no light primer strikes. I heard that was a big problem too. So far I haven't run into it yet. It seems like most of the problems, and I don't know if it's significant or anything, but most of the problems are with the full black version, whereas I only have one of the problems, which is this the slide with the two-tone version. So that's that. Just thought I'd, contribute a little bit here, since I, seem to be one of the lucky people out of the SDS owners. Right now, I'm really happy with the gun. I'm just looking for a good carry holster for it right now. But that's about it. Thanks for watching.